Hana stared at the screen and sighed. Another empty shift. Another 12 hours of watching blank space where nothing ever happened. She took a sip of her cold beverage and wished she had requested a transfer to anywhere else in the galaxy. The monitoring station floated in the dark void, far from any interesting planets or trade routes. Station Epsilon 7 had one job: watch the restricted zone around the Sol system. Make sure the primitive humans stayed where they belonged. It was the most boring assignment in the entire Valerian Confederacy. Hana had been here for 3 cycles now, 3 long cycles of staring at sensors that showed the same thing every single day. Nothing. The humans were barely capable of reaching their own moon. They had primitive rockets that burned chemical fuel. They had no faster-than-light travel. They had no energy shields. They didn't even know other species existed. The database said humans were at least 200 years away from developing anything worth noticing. They were classified as level 2 on the development scale. Interesting enough to watch, but too primitive to contact. The galaxy had rules about these things. Let them grow on their own. Don't interfere. Don't make contact until they reach the stars by themselves. Hana understood the rules. She just wished she didn't have to be the one watching empty space to enforce them. She ran her routine sensor sweep. The computer hummed softly as it scanned the vast emptiness. Gas clouds, asteroids, radiation from the distant star the humans called their sun. All normal, all boring. All exactly the same as yesterday and the day before that. Then something blinked on her screen. Hana sat up straight. A contact, an energy signature, coming from the coordinates near the large gas planet the humans called Jupiter. She frowned and ran the scan again. The signature was still there. Actually, it was getting stronger, moving, heading outward from the inner system. Her heart started beating faster. This had to be a mistake. The sensors must be broken. She pulled up the diagnostic program and ran a full check. All systems showed green. Everything was working perfectly. The signature was real. Hana zoomed in on the location. Her screen filled with data that made no sense. An artificial object, definitely a ship, moving at speeds that shouldn't be possible for human technology. The energy readings showed a fusion drive operating at 98% efficiency. Valerian ships only managed 85% on a good day. This was impossible. Humans didn't have fusion drives. They barely had nuclear power. Their best ships used primitive chemical rockets that took months to reach their outer planets. She checked the database again. Last update was 6 months ago. Human civilization status: primitive spaceflight, no interplanetary capability, estimated 2 centuries from faster-than-light travel. But the sensor data didn't lie. Something was out there. Something big, something advanced, and it was heading toward Valerian space. Hana's hands shook as she opened a communication channel to her supervisor. Taewon, we have a situation. I'm detecting an unidentified vessel emerging from the Sol system. Static crackled for a moment before Taewon's tired voice came through. Hana, it's the middle of the night cycle. This better not be another sensor ghost. Sir, I've run diagnostics 3 times. This is real. There's a ship, a big one, and it's using technology that humans aren't supposed to have. Taewon sighed loudly. The humans don't even have a proper space station yet. You're probably picking up reflected radiation from their satellite debris. Go run the diagnostic again and let me sleep. Hana looked at her screen. The contact was definitely getting closer. The energy signature was increasing. This was no satellite. This was a powered vessel under active propulsion. Sir, with respect, you need to see this. The ship is accelerating. It's moving faster than any human vessel on record. The fusion signature alone, Hana. Taewon's voice was sharp now. I've been doing this job for 20 years. I've seen 1,000 false alarms, sensor ghosts, cosmic radiation, reflected signals. The humans are primitive. They don't have fusion drives. They don't have the physics knowledge to build them. Now run your diagnostic and file a report in the morning. The channel went dead. Hana sat alone in her station watching the contact grow stronger on her sensors. She wasn't imagining this. The computer wasn't broken. Something was really out there. She began recording everything, every sensor reading, every energy spike, every detail. If Taewon wouldn't listen, she needed proof. The ship was moving with purpose now, not drifting, not tumbling like debris. It was under intelligent control, making small course corrections, heading on a direct path toward the outer boundary of the Sol system. Hana pulled up the visual scanners and pointed them at the coordinates. At this distance, she wouldn't see much, just a dot of reflected light. But maybe something. The screen flickered and focused. Her breath caught in her throat. There it was. A ship. Not a primitive rocket. Not a stumbling probe. A real starship with a hull that gleamed with advanced alloys. She could see the glow of massive engines. The shimmer of what looked like energy shields. This wasn't level 2 technology. This was level 4. Maybe level 5. Humans weren't supposed to have this, not for centuries, not according to every projection and analysis the Valerian Confederacy had made. Hana's mind raced. Either the entire galactic database was wrong, or something incredible had happened in the Sol system. Something no one had noticed. She opened the channel to Taewon again. "Sir, I have visual confirmation. You need to see this. Now." This time, Taewon didn't argue. Maybe he heard the fear in her voice. Maybe he heard the certainty. The channel stayed open as she transmitted the visual feed. Silence stretched for a long moment. Then Taewon's voice came back, all the sleepiness gone. "Alert the patrol fleet. Wake up, everyone. And Hana, start recording everything. I think we just witnessed something that's going to change the galaxy." Hana's hands flew across her controls, sending priority alerts to every Valerian station within range. Her boring job had just become the most important position in the Confederacy. On her screen, the human ship continued its steady journey outward, silent, confident, as if it had every right to be there. And maybe, Hana thought, maybe it did. Her quiet watch was over. First contact was beginning, and she was the one who had seen it first. The command center of Station Epsilon 7 was filled with activity. Officers rushed between stations. Screens showed multiple views of the approaching human vessel. Everyone spoke in urgent whispers, trying to make sense of what they were seeing. Taewon stood beside Hana's station, his face pale. He had stopped doubting her an hour ago when the ship appeared clearly on every scanner they had. Now he was making rapid calls to anyone who would listen. "Yes, Admiral, I understand this sounds impossible," Taewon said into his communicator. "But we have confirmed visual. The ship is real. It's massive, and it's heading straight toward us." Hana zoomed in on the vessel again. Every time she looked, she noticed more details. The hull was sleek and powerful. Advanced weapons were mounted along its flanks. She could see smaller ships docked to its sides. This wasn't just a ship, it was a fleet carrier. The computer identified the design as a colony ship pattern, but modified, heavily modified. The humans had taken a simple transport design and turned it into something deadly. "How big is it?" Taewon asked, ending his call with the Admiral. Hana checked her readings. 2 kilometers long. Mass readings suggest it's carrying enough supplies for thousands of people. And sir, the weapon systems alone could take on a Valerian cruiser. Taewon rubbed his face. This doesn't make sense. 6 months ago, they were still using chemical rockets. How did they build this? Before Hana could answer, every screen in the command center lit up with the same message. An incoming transmission from the human ship. The communication officer, a young Valerian named Bo-Ra, looked at Taewon with wide eyes. "Sir, they're broadcasting in Galactic Standard, perfect Galactic Standard." "Put it through," Taewon ordered. A voice filled the command center. Male. Calm. Speaking with the formal courtesy used in official first contact protocols. This is the United Human Starship Dauntless, Registry UHSV-001, under the command of Captain Jin-Ho Park. We are requesting permission to dock at your station and open formal diplomatic relations with the Valerian Confederacy. We come in peace and wish to establish friendly contact. The entire command center fell silent. Hana felt her skin tingle. They knew the protocols. They knew the language. They even knew the station was Valerian. Taewan grabbed his communicator. This is Station Epsilon 7. Human vessel, you are in restricted space. Please state how you acquired faster-than-light capability and galactic standard language. The response came immediately. Station Epsilon 7. We have been monitoring galactic transmissions for 52 Earth years. We learned your language from your broadcasts. We developed our technology through careful observation and independent research. We are ready to join the galactic community. 52 years. Hana's mind spun. Humans had been listening, learning, building, all while the galaxy assumed they were primitive and ignorant. Warning alarms blared across the station. New contacts were appearing on sensors. The Valerian patrol fleet had arrived. 6 warships dropped out of faster-than-light travel in a defensive formation around the station. The fleet commander, Captain Yuna, appeared on the main screen. She was older, with sharp eyes and a face marked by scars from the Krill border wars. She looked at the human ship with the expression of someone evaluating a threat. This is Captain Yuna of the Valerian Patrol Fleet. Unknown human vessel, you will halt your approach immediately. You are in violation of restricted space protocols. Power down your weapons and prepare to be boarded for inspection. Hana watched the human ship. It didn't slow down. It didn't change course. It simply continued its steady approach. Jin-Ho's voice came through again, still calm. Captain Yuna, we respectfully decline. We are not in violation of any law that we have agreed to follow. We never signed your restriction treaties. We are a sovereign species exercising our right to explore space. We will continue to your station for peaceful docking. Yuna's expression hardened. I am authorized to use force. This is your final warning. Captain, we understand your concern, but we are not your enemy. We are your future neighbors. Let us talk instead of fight. Yuna looked off screen, probably consulting with her officers. Then she gave a sharp nod. Fire warning shots. Make them understand we're serious. 2 of the patrol ships broke formation. Plasma cannons charged with visible energy. Bright bolts of superheated matter streaked through space toward the Dauntless. Hana held her breath. This was it, the moment that would define everything. The plasma bolts hit the human ship's shields. Energy flared in brilliant cascades of light. The entire command center waited to see the damage. The light faded. The Dauntless continued forward, completely undamaged. Its shields hadn't even flickered. Jin-Ho's voice came through with what sounded like amusement. Was that meant to stop us? Captain Yuna, our shields can handle solar radiation from a close star orbit. Your plasma weapons are considerably less powerful. Are you finished with the hostilities, or shall we continue this pointless exercise? Yuna's face turned red with anger and embarrassment. A Valerian cruiser's weapons had been brushed aside like nothing. How is this possible? Your technology is the result of 52 years of focused development. Jin-Ho interrupted gently. While you assumed we were primitive, we were learning. We watched your wars. We studied your physics. We understood your technology. Then we built our own, using principles you broadcast freely across the galaxy. We thank you for the education. Hana realized what had happened. Humans had turned the galaxy's own openness against them. Every public broadcast, every scientific journal transmitted between worlds, every military communication that wasn't properly encrypted, the humans had been listening to all of it. They had learned physics from Valerian educational programs, engineering from Tauran construction broadcasts, weapons technology from intercepted military reports during the Krill Wars. The galaxy had taught them everything, Never imagining the primitive species was paying attention, Tae-wan looked at Hana. "What have we done?" "We underestimated them," Hana said quietly. "We assumed they were too primitive to understand, but they were just quiet, watching, learning." Yuna's voice was tight with controlled anger. "Captain Jin-ho, you will halt your vessel, or I will order a full fleet engagement." "And lose 6 ships against 1? Jin-ho replied. "Captain, we both know how this ends. Your weapons can't penetrate our shields. Our weapons, which you can see clearly on your sensors, are considerably more advanced. We could destroy your fleet, but we won't, because we don't want war. We want membership in the galactic community." A new voice joined the conversation. Older, female, carrying absolute authority. "This is High Chancellor Sung-mi of the Valerian Confederacy. Captain Jin-ho, you have made your point. You are clearly more advanced than our records indicated. I am ordering Captain Yuna to stand down. In return, you will hold position while we arrange proper first contact protocols." "Agreed, High Chancellor," Jin-ho said immediately. "We will maintain our current position. We look forward to formal negotiations." The tension in the command center eased slightly. Hana watched as the human ship slowed to a stop exactly where it was. Perfect control. Perfect precision. Tae-wan put a hand on her shoulder. "You tried to tell me. I should have listened." Hana nodded, still staring at the massive human ship on her screen. The ship that shouldn't exist. The ship that changed everything. "Sir," she said softly, "I think the galaxy is about to learn a very important lesson. Never ignore someone just because they seem primitive. They might be learning everything you know while you're not paying attention." Waypoint 9 was the largest diplomatic station in this sector of the galaxy. Hana had never been here before. She stood in the observation deck, watching ships from a dozen different species arrive for the emergency conference. Each one represented a civilization with its own concerns about the sudden appearance of humans in galactic space. She still couldn't believe she was here. 3 days ago, she had been a bored monitoring technician. Now she was an official witness to the most important first contact event in a century. "Nervous?" Tae-wan asked, walking up beside her. "Terrified," Hana admitted. "Why did High Chancellor Sung-mi want me here? I'm nobody important." "You're the person who first detected them," Tae-wan said. "You're the one who insisted something was wrong when I wouldn't listen. That makes you important." The main conference hall was enormous. Representatives from 37 different species filled the curved rows of seats. Hana recognized the insectoid Vrex with their clicking mandibles, the crystalline Lithar, who communicated through light patterns, the aquatic Tauren in their water-filled environmental suits. Everyone was here. Everyone wanted answers. High Chancellor Sung-mi stood at the central podium. She was tall for a Valerian, with gray hair and eyes that missed nothing. She raised her hand, and the hall fell silent. "We are here to address an unprecedented situation," Sung-mi began. 3 days ago, a human vessel appeared in our space. This vessel demonstrated technology far beyond what our projections indicated was possible. We must determine how to proceed." A Vrex representative clicked forward on multiple legs. "The humans violated the restriction protocols. They should be quarantined immediately. Send them back to their system and post guards to ensure they stay there." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the hall. "With respect," a new voice said, "we violated no protocols that we agreed to. You made rules about us without asking us. Those rules don't bind us." Every head turned. A human walked into the hall with calm confidence. She was small compared to most species present, but she moved like someone who knew exactly where they belonged. "I am Ambassador Jiwoo from Earth," she continued. "I hold doctorates in xenopolitics, galactic law, and diplomatic relations, all earned by studying your own broadcast educational programs. Thank you for the free universities." Several representatives looked uncomfortable. Jiwoo smiled pleasantly and took her position at a secondary podium. "You can't just appear and demand membership," a Lithar representative pulsed in light language, translated by the computer. "There are procedures, requirements, tests of worthiness." "Then test us," Jiwoo said simply. "We're ready." Sungmi gestured for calm. "Before we discuss tests, we need understanding. Ambassador Jiwoo, how did your species advance so rapidly? Our last assessment showed humans were centuries away from faster-than-light travel." Jiwoo touched a control, and a holographic display appeared above the hall. 52 years ago, we detected your broadcasts. We realized we weren't alone. We also realized we were far behind, so we made a choice. We united our entire planet under a single government. We pooled our resources. We focused everything on one goal: reaching the stars. The hologram showed Earth from space. Then it showed massive construction projects on the moon, hidden facilities in asteroid belts, ships being built in secret, far from any telescope that might spot them. "We learned from watching you," Jiwoo continued. "We studied every war you fought, every peace you made, every technological breakthrough you broadcast. We saw your mistakes and avoided them. We saw your successes and built on them. You were our teachers, whether you knew it or not." A new human appeared beside Jiwoo. Male, older, with kind eyes and hands stained with work. "I am Dr. Minho, Chief Scientist of Earth's Space Development Program. I will explain our technical achievements." Minho pulled up complex diagrams. "Your physics broadcasts taught us the principles of faster-than-light travel. Your engineering shows taught us antimatter containment. Your military communications during the Krill Wars taught us weapons design. We took your knowledge and asked a simple question: how can we do this better?" "Impossible," a Tauran scientist bubbled through their translator. "Understanding principles and building working technology are completely different. It should have taken you 200 years minimum." "It would have," Minho agreed, "if we worked at your pace. But we had advantages you didn't consider. We had 50,000 of our best scientists working on nothing else. We had a united planet with unlimited funding. And we had urgency. We knew we were behind. We knew we were vulnerable. So we worked harder than anyone thought possible." Hana watched the other representatives. Some looked impressed. Many looked worried. A few looked angry. An elderly Valerian stood from the back row. Hana recognized him from her studies. Elder Hyun, a philosopher and historian who had lived through 3 major galactic conflicts. "The question is not how they did it," Hyun said quietly. "The question is what they will do with it. Advanced technology in the hands of an untested species is dangerous. History teaches us this lesson repeatedly." "Then test us," Jiwoo said again. "Give us a challenge. Let us prove we deserve membership." Sungmi nodded slowly. "That is fair. But what test would be appropriate?" "There is a situation," a Rex military commander clicked. "The Corvin sector defense grid has malfunctioned. It has been firing on trade ships for 6 months. 20 vessels have been destroyed. We cannot shut it down without massive military assault that would cost thousands of lives." "The Corvin grid was built during the last war," Hyun explained, for those who didn't know. "It's an automated weapons system designed to protect against invasion. But its artificial intelligence developed errors. Now it treats all ships as enemies. Every attempt to approach it ends in destruction." "And you want us to fix it?" Minho asked. "If you can," Sungmi said. "If humans can solve a problem that has stumped our best engineers for 6 months, it would demonstrate capability worthy of respect. It would also save lives and reopen crucial trade routes." Jiwoo looked at Minho. Some unspoken communication passed between them. Then Jiwoo nodded. "We accept. Give us access to all data on the defense grid. We'll find a solution." "You have 3 days," Sungmi said. "If you succeed, we will grant humanity provisional membership in the Galactic Council." You will have a seat at this table and a voice in galactic affairs. And if we fail, Jiwoo asked, then you return to Earth, and we revisit this discussion in 25 years, after you've had time to mature as a civilization. Hana saw Jiwoo's jaw tighten. 25 years was a long time for a species that had advanced 50 years of technology in 5 decades. Understood, Jiwoo said. We won't fail. As the conference broke up, Hana found herself standing near the human delegation. Jiwoo noticed her and smiled. You're Hana, aren't you? The technician who first detected us? Hana nodded, surprised. How did you know? We've been monitoring your communications, Jiwoo admitted. We know who saw us first. We know you advocated for giving us a chance when others wanted to dismiss us. Thank you for that. I just reported what I saw, Hana said. You did more than that. You believed the data even when your supervisor didn't. You trusted your instruments and your judgment. That's important. Jiwoo extended her hand in the human gesture of greeting. I hope we can work together. I think you understand us better than most. Hana took the offered hand, feeling the warmth of human skin. These weren't monsters or threats. They were people. Smart, determined people who had worked incredibly hard to reach this moment. I hope you succeed, Hana said honestly. We will, Jiwoo replied with quiet confidence. We've been preparing for this our entire lives. We didn't come this far to fail a test. Later that night, Hana stood again at the observation deck. She could see the Dauntless in the distance, docked at a secure berth. Lights moved across its hull as the crew worked inside. Sungmi appeared beside her. Hana jumped and gave a quick bow of respect. Relax, Sungmi said kindly. I wanted to speak with you. Taewon tells me you've been studying human culture from their broadcasts. Yes, High Chancellor. In my spare time. They're fascinating. What do you think? Will they succeed? Hana considered the question carefully. They've succeeded at everything else they attempted. They unified their planet when most species can't manage it for centuries. They built an advanced fleet in secret. They learned our language perfectly. I think underestimating them would be a mistake. Sungmi smiled. I think you're right, and I think we need people who understand that. How would you like a new assignment? Head of Human-Valerian Relations. Hana's eyes widened. I'm just a technician. You were a technician. Now you're the person who saw them coming when everyone else was blind. That's exactly who we need. Sungmi put a hand on Hana's shoulder. The galaxy is changing. Humans are here, whether we're ready or not. I want people who can adapt. Are you interested? Hana looked at the Dauntless. At the ship full of humans who had refused to wait for permission to reach the stars. Yes, she said. I'm interested. The briefing room aboard the Dauntless was filled with tension. Captain Jin-ho stood at the head of the table, studying the holographic display of the Corvin defense grid. Hana sat in the corner, observing as her new role required. She was supposed to be learning how humans worked. She was learning they worked fast. The grid has 416 weapon platforms, Lieutenant Dae-hyun explained. He was young for his rank, with quick eyes and faster hands on the controls. Each platform has independent targeting systems and antimatter missiles. The Central Artificial Intelligence coordinates them into overlapping fields of fire. Why can't we just destroy it? Asked Sergeant Sua. She was built like a fighter, compact and strong, her hair cut military short. Antimatter explosions, Dr. Minho said quietly. 400 platforms full of antimatter going off at once would sterilize 3 planets in the sector. The environmental damage would be catastrophic. Jin-ho traced a path through the hologram with one finger. So we need to shut it down, not destroy it. What have the other species tried? Dae-hyun pulled up a list. Everything. Hacking attempts get fried by security protocols. Physical approach triggers automatic defense. They tried sending drones with shutdown codes. But the AI adapted and started ignoring all external commands. It's learning, Minho observed. That's why it's so dangerous. It was designed to adapt to enemy tactics. Now it sees everyone as an enemy, and it keeps getting better at killing them. Hana watched Jinho think. His face was calm, but she could see his mind working through possibilities. This was the man who had built Earth's first starfleet in secret. He didn't accept impossible. The AI is the key, Jinho said finally. It's Corvin programming, built by the insectoid species. Their neural patterns are completely different from ours. That's the problem, Daehyun said. Every species that tried to hack it thinks like themselves. The Corvin think in hive patterns. The Valerians think in hierarchies. The Tauran think in fluid networks. But the AI has adapted to defend against all of them. Jinho smiled slowly. But it's never faced human thinking. We don't think like any of them. We think chaotic, lateral, unpredictable. That's our advantage. Minho nodded, understanding immediately. We write a virus that exploits how differently we process information, something that looks like garbage data to the AI until it's too late. Can you do it? Jinho asked. Give me 12 hours and access to your best programmers, Minho said. You have it. Daehyun, prepare the resilience and the valor for escort duty. Sua, get your Marines ready for boarding action. If we can get close enough, we might need to physically access the central platform. Boarding? Sua's eyes lit up. Now, that's more my style. Jinho looked at Hana. You don't have to come. This will be dangerous. I'm supposed to observe human operations, Hana said, keeping her voice steady despite her fear. I can't do that from a safe distance. Brave, Jinho noted. All right, you'll stay on the bridge with me. Don't touch anything unless I tell you to. 12 hours later, Hana stood on the dauntless bridge as the ship dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Corvin sector. The defense grid appeared on sensors like a metal spiderweb stretched across space. 2 smaller human ships flanked the Dauntless. The Resilience and the Valor were frigate-class vessels, fast and deadly. Hana had watched their crews prepare. They moved with practiced efficiency that spoke of serious training. Grid is active, Daehyun reported. We're being scanned. Target locks acquiring. Here we go, Jinho said calmly. Minho, upload the virus on my mark. Shields to maximum. All weapons ready, but hold fire unless I order it. The weapon platforms began rotating toward them. Hana saw missile ports opening. Her heart hammered in her chest. They're firing, Daehyun announced. Dozens of antimatter missiles streaked toward the 3 human ships. Hana gripped her chair, fighting the urge to close her eyes. The Dauntless's shields flared bright blue. Missiles detonated against the energy barrier in brilliant explosions. The ship shook but held firm. The Resilience and Valor danced through the missile swarm with incredible precision, their shields absorbing hits that would have destroyed most vessels. Now, Minho, Jinho ordered. Virus uploading, Minho reported. His fingers flew across his console. It's disguised as standard communication protocol. The AI should ignore it as harmless. Seconds ticked by. More missiles launched. The human ships kept advancing, shields blazing with each impact. The AI is examining the virus, Minho said. It's confused. The code structure doesn't match any pattern it knows. It's trying to categorize it. Will it work? Jinho asked. If it thinks like I think it thinks, yes. If I'm wrong... Minho didn't finish the sentence. The missile fire suddenly stopped. Every weapon platform froze in place. Virus is executing, Minho said excitedly. The AI is trying to process code written in human logic patterns. It's like asking a fish to breathe air. The systems are choking on it. Sua, you're up, Jinho said. Take your team to the central platform. We need physical access to shut this thing down permanently. On it, Captain. Hana watched as a boarding craft launched from the Dauntless. It was small and fast, carrying 12 Marines in powered armor. Sua led them toward the largest platform at the center of the grid. AI is trying to reboot, Minho warned. My virus is slowing it down, but it's adaptive. It'll figure out a workaround eventually. How long do we have? Maybe 10 minutes before it starts shooting again. The boarding craft reached the central platform. Magnetic clamps locked onto the hull. Sua's voice came through the speakers. We're attached, cutting through the outer hull now. Hana could see the operation on the screens. The Marines used plasma torches to burn through the platform's armor. They moved with the efficiency of people who had trained for this exact scenario. Inside, Sua reported, moving to the AI core. Place is a maze. The Corvin really didn't want visitors. You have 8 minutes, Jinho said calmly. Hana realized she was holding her breath. This was insane. They were inside a malfunctioning weapon system that could kill them all at any moment. But the humans moved like it was just another day at work. Found the core, Sua said. Minho, I'm at the access terminal. Guide me through this. Minho's voice became focused and clear. You'll see a series of crystalline matrices. Each one controls a section of the grid. We need to physically disconnect them in the right sequence, or the system will lock down completely. Got it. Starting sequence now. On the screen, Hana watched as Sua's armored hands carefully removed glowing crystals from their housings. Each one dimmed as it disconnected. Weapon platforms across the grid began powering down. 4 minutes, Daehyun warned. AI is adapting faster than predicted. Almost there, Sua said. Sweat was visible on her face through her helmet. Last 3 crystals. Warning alarms blared across the dauntless bridge. The AI just figured out the virus, Minho said urgently. It's purging the code. Systems coming back online. Weapon platforms began moving again. Missile ports opened. Sua, you need to move now, Jinho said. No panic, just urgency. Last crystal, Sua grunted. Got it! The weapon platforms froze again. This time they didn't restart. Across the entire grid, lights began fading. The artificial intelligence that had terrorized this sector for 6 months went dark. Silence filled the bridge. Grid is offline, Daehyun confirmed. All platforms dead. The AI is shut down permanently. Jinho let out a breath. Sua, status? We're good, Captain. Coming home. Though I think Private Jae-sung might need new pants. Kid thought we were done for. Laughter echoed through the communication channel. The tension broke. Hana realized she was shaking. They had done it. The impossible problem that had stumped the galaxy's best minds for 6 months had been solved in less than a day by humans who thought differently. Good work, everyone, Jinho said. Recall the boarding team. Let's go tell the Galactic Council that the Corvin sector is safe again. As the Marines returned to the ship, Hana saw Sua stop in the airlock. The sergeant was looking at something. When she came to the bridge, she carried 3 small objects. What are those? Jinho asked. Memorial chips, Sua said quietly. 3 of my people didn't make it off the platform before we cut the power to the systems. They're gone. Captain, Park Il-sung, Kim Da-yun, and Cho Yeon-woo. They saved the mission. Jinho took the chips with reverence. They saved thousands of lives. We'll honor them properly. Later that day, Jinho addressed the entire crew over the ship's communication system. Hana listened as he spoke about sacrifice, duty, and the price of proving humanity's worth. His voice was heavy with grief, but also with pride. When he finished, every crew member was silent for exactly 1 minute, honoring their fallen friends. Hana finally understood. Humans weren't just smart or adaptable or determined. They cared deeply about each other. They would risk everything for their team. They would die to save others. That, she realized, was their real strength. Not technology, not tactics, but their willingness to sacrifice for something bigger than themselves. The main hall of Waypoint 9 was completely silent as High Chancellor Sung Mi stood at the central podium. Every representative from every species watched the holographic display showing the dead Corvin defense grid. The platforms floated in space, dark and harmless. The threat that had killed 20 ships and hundreds of people was gone. "In less than 2 days," Sung Mi said, her voice carrying through the hall, "humanity accomplished what our combined civilizations could not achieve in 6 months. They solved a problem that cost lives and closed vital trade routes. They did so with minimal loss and maximum efficiency." Hana sat in the gallery section, watching. Beside her, Ambassador Jiwoo sat with quiet dignity. Captain Jin Ho stood nearby in his formal uniform, looking uncomfortable with all the attention. Elder Hyun rose from his seat. The old Valerian moved slowly to the speaking platform. "I confess I had doubts. I feared humans were too young, too untested, too potentially dangerous. But they have shown something more important than advanced technology. They have shown courage, sacrifice, and wisdom." He gestured to Jin Ho. "Captain, would you tell us about the 3 who died?" Jin Ho stepped forward. His face was composed, but Hana could see the grief in his eyes. Park Il-sung was 23 years old. He joined the space program because he wanted to see the stars. Kim Da-eun was 31. She had 2 children back on Earth. She volunteered for the mission because she wanted to make the galaxy safer for them. Cho Yeon-woo was 26. He loved poetry and terrible jokes. His last transmission was telling his team to get out while he finished the shutdown sequence. The hall was absolutely silent. Several representatives looked down, unable to meet Jin Ho's eyes. "They gave their lives for people they never met," Jin Ho continued. "For species they only knew from broadcasts and data files. They did it because it was right, because saving lives mattered more than their own safety. That's what humanity is. That's who we are." A Vrex representative clicked forward. Hana recognized him as one of the military commanders who had initially demanded humans be quarantined. "I was wrong," he said simply. "I judged you before knowing you. Your people died to save trade routes that benefit my species. I owe them honor and debt." One by one, representatives stood. Each one spoke words of respect. Words of gratitude, words of welcome. Sung Mi raised her hand for quiet. "The Galactic Council has deliberated. By unanimous vote, we grant humanity full membership status. Earth will receive 3 seats on this council and all rights and responsibilities that come with membership. Welcome to the galactic community." The hall erupted in the various sounds of applause from different species. Clicking mandibles, pulsing lights, bubbling water. And from the small human delegation, simple clapping hands. Jiwoo stood and bowed respectfully. "On behalf of humanity, we accept. We promise to be worthy partners in building a peaceful and prosperous future." After the formal ceremony ended, the hall transformed into a reception area. Hana found herself surrounded by representatives asking questions about humans. They wanted to know everything. Culture, history, customs, food, art. She did her best to answer, grateful for all those hours studying human broadcasts. But the real stars were the humans themselves. Jiwoo moved through the crowd with practiced diplomatic grace. Captain Yuna, who had tried to stop the Dauntless days ago, was deep in conversation with Jin Ho about military tactics. Dr. Minho was explaining human scientific methods to a group of fascinated researchers. Sergeant Sua was showing her powered armor to a crowd of military observers. Tae-wan appeared beside Hana with 2 drinks. He handed her one. "Remember when you called me in the middle of the night cycle about a sensor ghost?" Hana laughed. "I remember you telling me to run diagnostics and go to sleep." "One of my worst decisions," Tae-wan admitted. "Though it worked out. You got promoted. I got a lesson in humility, and the galaxy got some very interesting new neighbors." They're more than interesting, Hana said, watching Jiwoo teach a Tauran representative how to shake hands. They're remarkable. They turned 50 years of disadvantage into strength. They learned from everyone and became better than most. What do you think happens now? Taewon asked. Now? Hana smiled. Now everything changes. She was right. Over the next 6 months, the galaxy transformed. Human ships appeared everywhere. They established trade routes, opened embassies, shared technology. Their music and art spread through galactic networks, strange and beautiful and deeply emotional. Hana's new role kept her incredibly busy. She helped negotiate treaties, explained human customs to confused aliens. Explained alien customs to confused humans. She traveled to Earth and stood on the planet that had launched itself into the stars through pure determination. She met with human leaders and learned their history, wars and peace, triumph and tragedy. They had nearly destroyed themselves multiple times, but always pulled back from the edge. They learned, they adapted, they survived. Ambassador Jiwoo became a close friend. They spent hours talking about philosophy, culture, and the future. Jiwoo taught Hana about human literature. Hana taught Jiwoo about Valerian meditation techniques. Your people waited for permission before exploring space, Jiwoo said one evening over dinner at the Earth Embassy on Waypoint 9. Why? Hana considered the question. We were cautious. We wanted to be sure. We wanted consensus before moving forward. And that works for you. But humans, Jiwoo smiled. We're not good at waiting. We see something we want, and we chase it. Sometimes that gets us in trouble, but sometimes it gets us to the stars. No regrets? Hana asked. About forcing your way into the galaxy before you were invited? None, Jiwoo said firmly. We could have waited 200 years like your projections said. Built slower. Been more careful. But how many people would have lived and died never knowing the stars existed? How many discoveries would we have missed? How many friends would we never have made? She raised her glass to Hana. No, we did the right thing. We earned our place. Back on station Epsilon 7, Hana visited her old monitoring post. A new technician sat at her old station. Young, eager, watching the sensors with the same bored expression Hana once had. But the screens showed something very different now. The Sol system was filled with activity. Construction yards orbited Mars. Mining operations covered the asteroid belt. Dozens of human ships moved between planets and moons. It's amazing, isn't it? The new technician said. They went from chemical rockets to a galactic fleet in 50 years. Makes you wonder what they'll do in the next 50. Hana wondered too. She had seen human determination, their creativity, their refusal to accept limitations. What would they build next? What would they discover? What would they teach the galaxy? A message came through on her personal communicator. Captain Yuna wanted to meet for lunch. They had become unlikely friends after the Corvin sector mission. Yuna had admitted her initial hostility came from fear of the unknown. Now she was one of humanity's strongest advocates. They remind me why I joined the military, Yuna had told Hana. They fight for things that matter. They don't give up. They inspire everyone around them to be better. As Hana left the station, she passed a memorial wall. 3 new names had been added: Park Il-sung, Kim Da-eun, Cho Yeon-woo, the humans who had died saving the Corvin sector. Their memorial chips rested in a place of honor, surrounded by flowers from a dozen different worlds. People stopped to pay respects. Humans, yes, but also Valerians, Vrex, Tauran, and others. The 3 had become symbols of the best humanity had to offer, sacrifice for the greater good. Hana touched the memorial gently. Thank you, she whispered. You changed the galaxy. At the next Galactic Council meeting, humans proposed their first major initiative, a joint exploration program, combined crews from multiple species, shared technology and knowledge, pushing further into unknown space together. We learned so much by watching you, Jiwoo explained to the council. Imagine what we could learn by working together. Humans bring our adaptability and creativity. You bring your experience and wisdom. Together, we could accomplish incredible things. The proposal passed with overwhelming support. Hana watched from her seat as humans and aliens shook hands, clasped appendages, and pulsed lights in agreement. Ships would be built, crews would be selected, new worlds would be discovered. And it all started because one bored technician noticed an impossible signature on her sensors and refused to dismiss it as a sensor ghost. That night, Hana stood at her apartment window, looking up at the stars. Somewhere out there, human ships were traveling to distant worlds, trading with alien species, learning new things, teaching new lessons. She had been worried when they first appeared, scared of what it meant, uncertain about the future. Now she knew better. Humanity's arrival hadn't destroyed the galaxy. It had made it better, more dynamic, more alive, more hopeful. The galaxy had found not conquerors, but partners who refused to wait for an invitation to their own destiny. And Hana had learned the most important lesson of all. Never underestimate someone just because they seem primitive. They might be learning everything you know while you're not paying attention, and when they're ready, they won't ask permission. They'll just show up on your radar with ships that shouldn't exist and technology that shouldn't be possible. They'll look you in the eye and say, "We're here, we're ready, let's talk." And if you're wise, you'll listen. Hana smiled and raised a glass to the stars. To the humans who had changed everything, to the friends she had made, to the future they would build together. "Welcome to the galaxy," she said softly. "We're better with you in it." And somewhere in the vast darkness of space, on ships traveling faster than light, humans heard the welcome and smiled back. They had earned their place among the stars, and they were just getting started.